All right, here's the update on the secret door entryway into my office slash walk-in gun vault. So the door is constructed of 2x2 square rectangular tubing, steel tubing with an 1/8 inch wall. The vertical aspects of the door were milled, and the frame sides were milled to accept hidden hinges. Those are Sugatsuni hinges. And the striker side has a 1,200-pound shear magnetic lock installed in it that engages with some electronics. They're actually just sitting on the floor back there. I've just been turning it on and off with like a smart outlet right now, but it will have some cool features on how you actually enter this room when it's finally done. What's painted right now is just the framing that was added to install the door. That's the color is, it's not actually black, it's iron ore. It's the same color as our house, the exterior of our house, and a couple other architectural walls downstairs. The painting on this side will continue all the way down the wall. So the entire wall down this direction will be iron ore. The door is iron ore, as you'll see in a few moments. Of course, across it is iron ore, and then the iron ore will continue into this space. It's tough to see, but there's a space that kind of cuts back at a 90-degree and is supposed to have been like a closet where you frame all the way out to this wall to create a closet, but right now it's just kind of a setback little wet bar type area. To hide the door, there will be vertical cladding, so floor to ceiling cladding, which is a 1x6 board or a 1x4, I haven't decided yet, and those will be spaced a 1/4 inch apart, and that cladding will slightly overhang this reveal of the door, the hinge side of the door, and it will slightly overhang the striker side of the door on this side, and that will effectively make the door invisible. There is a tiny bit of light passage you might see, maybe at the top or bottom or near one of the hinges or striker side. There is a tiny bit of light passage right now, but of course that will be covered up with that vertical cladding that will, again, the vertical cladding will go down the entire wall, all the way across the door, around the corner, and it'll be like an architectural feature of this wall. That vertical cladding it'll be painted iron ore as well. There will have to be a base trim board, just a square, a rectangular board, probably like a 1x4 board that will be flush with the vertical cladding at the bottom, because when I remove the original trim down here, it's going to expose that the wood floor doesn't run all the way under the drywall. And if I run vertical cladding straight down to the floor, between those little 1/4 inch gaps between the vertical cladding, you'd be able to see, down to subfloor in some areas, maybe wood in some areas. It's just going to look like shit if I do that. So I will have a trim board. I'll split the trim board where the door opens at the bottom, but I'll do a miter facing this direction, which is the opposite direction of which way you enter the room. You enter the room from that direction. So if the miter is facing this direction, you won't be able to see that miter unless you were to stand on this side of it, which fairly uncommon that you would ever stand on this side of the miter, since there's bed right here. So I'll go ahead and go inside and show you the door closing. I'll just plug in that orange extension cord. Once I get in there, you'll hear that shear lock engage, and then I'll disengage it so I can come out. The door also has an automatic closer. Once I break a certain point, it actually holds the door open, which is a nice feature, so it's not always closed, and I'm always having to engage whatever it is I'm using to open it. So I can actually hold it open during the day while I'm in my office working, and then when I'm leaving, I just pull it and it automatically closes for me. So I'll do that now. The breaking point of the door is about, once I get past about this, it actually goes the opposite direction and opens. But once I pull it back to about here, the closure takes over and starts pulling it close. That's it. Do another update video once we have some cladding on the wall and this thing disappears.